So welcome to the Ultra Running Sam podcast. And as always, we're supported and sponsored by Goku projects. So Goku supply trail running caps. If you've not seen them, go check them out. They're constantly doing discounts to get your hands on some of the most popular models that they do. Be seen out there with the stylish new designs. There's new colorways coming out very soon. There's plenty of discount codes out there. Ultra Sam 5 will get you £5 off at checkout. So if you want to check out the caps, go to Goku projects. You can find them on their website and on the social media. Instagram probably is the best place to find them. So go check them out. Daryl's a great guy, and he's bringing out some great products. Some great caps, so go check them out. Goku projects. Okay, on with the show. Okay, we're recording, so we may have some technical issues on this show this evening, but we'll power on through, and if we need to repeat anything, we will. So welcome to the podcast, Greg Vollet.
Thank you very much.
So as we established before I hit record, you're coming live from a posh hotel in Italy, is that right?
Yes, I'm actually in Italy to finalize all the tracks of the final of the Golden Trail World Series in Spotorno and Noli, and I'm here until Friday. Yeah, working on hard.
What's the weather like there where you are?
This week it's pretty sunny, and today I was able to run with a short and shirt, so 18 degrees was perfect.
On my commute run home from work, it was sideways rain and cold. I thought I'd done away with the running tights for this year, but no, they made a final appearance for. We had hail this afternoon where I am right in the middle of England, in the Midlands, in Derbyshire. So, you know, not far from the Peak District where the Spine race is. That's where I'm located. So we're still in the middle of winter, it seems.
Well, you are used to now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Greg, then, if for those listeners and viewers that aren't familiar perhaps with you, obviously you're renowned for the Golden Trail series, but could you sort of give us a bit of background on your how you got into what you do now and your backstory, basically?
Well, it depends where we want to go back.
as far as you like.
I was a professional mountain biker in the 90s. And then one of my sponsors proposed me to become a product manager for him. So I stopped my career to work always in the cycling world until 2010. And then I started working for Salomon in 2010 in trail running, and I was the sports marketing manager for international. And I created the international running team, trail running team. Started the Facebook page, so it looks like I am a dinosaur. But open the Instagram page of Salomon Running as well. Developing the Killian's Quest, if you remember it, a few years ago. And then after the Salomon TV episode for 12 years, all the social media from Salomon Running. So it was a lot of work. And last year I decided that it was way too much for one person. So as I created the Golden Trail World Series in 2018, and it's taking more and more time, I decided to dedicate myself only to this now. and I have a few other people that are taking care of the other missions.
So you've been right at the forefront of Salomon's dive into trail running then. So you were there from day one then, from that decision that they took to get into trail running then?
Well, I think they were in trail running already before I arrived, but differently. It's just that at that time they were there just with Kellyan and at local level with some national teams, but nothing was done at the international level. So that was one of my role, is to really to inspire the people globally, and to develop also all the trail running community around the world. So at that time I was traveling a lot, every year in China, and then in South Korea, in Japan, and in South America, creating a lot of activations to develop the sports all around the world. And at the end, this is still what I'm doing with the Golden today. I'm still pushing hard to develop the sport and to reach a global audience.
That's interesting. You say that you sort of went into Asia, in South Korea. Many years ago, I went to South Korea for work, and at the time I was training for a full distance Ironman. So while I was there for 2 weeks, I needed to train. I needed to swim, bike, and run, and I couldn't get over the fact that I didn't see any other runners there at all. So this was right in the southern part of South Korea, in the islands where the docks were, where the shipbuilding, and I really felt conspicuous running on the street, because everybody kind of looked at me, probably because I was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Westerner, and I was running. I didn't see anybody else running at that time. Is that, have you come across that in your time with Salomon, that having to break into different cultures and introduce trail running to people that don't necessarily, may not have had that much contact with trail running?
Yeah, I had different experience, but I think the biggest one on that type of approach was in China. When I was there in 2011, I think it was, people were running only on the pavement, not on trail. And for them, in their culture, it's not well seen to put your feet in the mud. And that's why the king has done so many pavement in the mountain, with a lot of stairs, etc., to never put his feet on trail. And when we organized this first community run, for most of them, it was the first time they were running on farmer trails, because trails there are just made for the farmers. So most of the time there is a trail, and then is ended, because it's just going to the place where they are farming, and then they come back by the same trail. But we found some trails to reach the summit, and they were yelling of pleasure. They felt free. It was a feeling of freedom, that when they arrive at the top of the mountain, and they were yelling, all of them, like they were feeling something super deep in them. That was the first time, and it was very emotional, because it was like we opened a door to them that was not accessible before, maybe, in their culture. And then they realize how much they get pleasure, how much it was great, and then they developed the community even more the following years.
Amazing, because I don't know if it's just like a sort of a Western view of China, but you know that living there can probably feel a bit oppressive as far as we view it, I suppose. So do you think that part of that freedom was something that they'd never experienced before because of those, the feeling that I'm trying to describe without it sounding racist, that it's like quite a domineering culture there, that the people are quite controlled in some ways. So do you think that was part of it, that they were sort of breaking free, felt like they were having this new sense of freedom, do you think?
I think it was just a matter of culture, that it was not in their habits. For them, if they were going in the mountain, it was staying on the pavement of the mountain and not using the farmer trails, because then it shows that you were a farmer, or it was degrading your image.
Yeah,
I think it was this approach of culture that they overpass, and now there is many races there, and thousands of people at the start. So.
It's amazing, isn't it, that it's such a massive audience now for that kind of sport, isn't it? China, it's opening up and there's quite a few really good quality Chinese trail runners coming out and doing races around the world, isn't there?
Yeah. And to come back to South Korea, so I was twice in Seoul, and I have a very good friend there who developed a big community of runners now, and it's a fantastic. Seoul is fantastic for trail running. You can start from downtown and reach very easily the mountain, and it's a country of hikers. And again, it's unbelievable that people are following what the marketing told them to do, and they are in full Gore-Tex, and it's really warm, huh? But they are wearing Gore-Tex, very big hiking boots in a classic mountain, huh? But when you watch them, you believe that they are going at least at the top of Mont Blanc. They are going just above Seoul, and they come back, and they are hiking very slowly with very big backpack, etc. And we were passing them in a short t-shirt with a small backpack with our soft flask, with a small group of runners, and they were watching us like extraterrestrials. It was like, wow, and even they were wearing gloves, etc. And it was I was amazed, because I was thinking, wow, this population, when they are watching an advertisement, they just buy it, and it's one of the biggest outdoor market in the world. Is the third one.
Wow.
Because people are just very dedicated. It's very impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can relate to that, actually, because when I was there all those years ago, the hotel where I was, right at the very back of the hotel was a trail that went up to the nearest peak, and while I was there, I was like, I've got to go up there. So while I'm here, so I'd been running along the streets and everything, but I wanted to go up and get to this summit, and I can't remember how high it was. Probably took me about 40 minutes to get up there. And like you say, I was just in a t-shirt and shorts because it was April time and it was warm. It felt, like kind of like our summers get to. So I was feeling hot, sweating, struggling to breathe, getting to the top. And like you say, there was people there hiking in full gear, backpacks on, looking like they were in the Alps. And there I was in just a tiny pair of shorts blowing in the wind. feeling. But there was more people. I actually had more of an interaction with people up there than I did when I was running along the streets. So obviously they've got that culture, haven't they, to explore. And it's such I couldn't get over how beautiful it was, all those islands down there, because this was sort of down in the south of South Korea where the islands are. They've definitely got the scenery, haven't they, down there for scenic trail running, for sure.
But you can see that depending on the country, the cultures are different. And so the approach of traveling is different as well. So, it was very interesting for me to analyze a little bit each market, and then to define which kind of activation was interesting for depending of the countries or whatever. So it was super interesting.
Yeah. So as far as the Golden Trail series goes, then how does that your sort of global experience of these different cultures and everything, how does that inform how you approach say starting new races to be part of the series in different countries? Are you using that knowledge that you already have of those markets to sort of inform you of the best way to approach them?
Yeah, so there is two levels of the Golden Trail series. There is the national series, the Golden Trail National Series. And now we are in 23 different countries. And in Asia, we are already in Japan, but normally we will be in South Korea this year too. And we should be in China very soon. And then we are in very different places like Mexico, US, Canada, or most of the countries in Europe. And then there is the Golden Trail World Series, where we are more choosing the key races where the athletes want to put on their bucket list, and so we are trying to change a little bit few of the races each year to make sure that the athletes won't get bored as well year after year to always compete the same races. So we are trying to create a bit of a movement, even if we are keeping the best ones as key pillars.
Yeah. So how does the trail series feed into the world series then? Is the races that people can do on a local, national level that will then get them access to the world series then?
Yeah, that's possible. That's possible, definitely. We try to choose first the ones of the Golden Trail National Series when it's possible, because the dates are not very flexible. So we are trying to jungle a little bit with the different calendars we have. But yes, we would like ideally to switch with different races from the Golden Trail National Series and to create a movement with them. And so, hopefully in the future to have Asian races as well.
Wow, so they all feed into this. So am I right in thinking that if you win a local series, that if you're in the top 3, do you then get a place in the World Series in the final, or is it just in one of the World Series races?
So if you finish top 3 men and women of the Golden Trail National Series, then you are invited to take part of the final. But in the final, you have the Golden Trail National Series ranking. It means that you will compete against all the other countries. Okay, so there is 2 different rankings, the elite ranking and the Golden Trail National Series ranking. If you finish in the top 3 men and women of this Golden Trail National Series ranking, you are invited on 3 World Series the following year.
Wow. Okay. Yes, that's a great opportunity for someone who's up and coming in trail running for them to be able to taste the big time.
Yes, yes, and you know, well, now the brands, all the brands are watching a lot the Golden Trail National Series and World Series, and I can tell you that all the athletes get a contract with brands just after the final. So the top 3 men and women from last year get professional contract. The top 20 men and women get professional contract from the World Series. It's growing very quickly now, and the last mercato, the last winter was crazy because all the brands were pushing all the athletes to come to their brand, and so the value of the athletes get super high. It's the first time that the athletes of short distance get that high. So that's really good for the sport development and from the series.
Was that intentional for that to be the outcome of putting together the Golden Trail series? Did you see that as sort of like an end goal of highlighting, you know, really good short course trail runners and giving them sort of the platform to then be snatched up by the brands, or was it just something that seems to have just happened with the success of the Golden Trail series?
No, it's definitely a goal, and it's not finished yet. If you prefer, we are developing the biggest trail running show in the world. Okay, that's our aim. And when we develop a show, we need actors. And these actors must be paid for the show. So this is totally relevant for me, and that's why we are putting a big prize money, but also that we want to show them that it's not only the Golden Trail that is supporting them, it's also many brands who knows that if the athletes wants to be visible, they must be there. Yeah.
What involvement do you have with other brands as far as then getting involved with the Golden Trail World Series? Is it everything exclusively Salomon? What involvement does anyone else have?
No, I'm in touch with all the team managers from all brands, and of course I'm trying to help all the athletes, all brand to come to our races. The game is to have the biggest density of athletes at each race. So this is what we are discussing with the athletes, with the team managers, and at the moment it's a big success on that side.
Yeah, the one thing I have noticed about it is your media is absolutely spot on. Like, all of your social media is all really high quality. The videos are amazing. The films that you've produced that are now showing. I know I've heard a figure somewhere of the TV series.
Chasing Dreams.
Yeah, if that is that over 10 million views has that had?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is a massive population of people watching that, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, we are working as a communication agency. We are not working as a simple organizer. We are working with our race organizer, but we are coming to support their communication. And we are producing a lot. So pictures, TikTok videos, short videos, longer videos, TV episode, live, press release, media invitation. Yeah, we are creating a big package for all our events, and of course it's a big investment on our side, but it starts to pay off as well, because we are able to reach a big audience. More and more TV channels are asking our content now, even the flight like Air France or KLM. And we are reaching people who don't know anything about traveling. This is really one of the goals. It's to develop the sport and inspiring more people as well. So normally this year we will be on more than 50 TV channels around the world.
Wow.
For our content, so it's a big evolution and it's going fast. Yeah.
So do you think that the sort of success that you had with that, with social media content and everything that you're providing, that's the thing that's driving the brands? But what's attracting the runners? Because it seems like every year you're adding more and more amazing trail runners. Are they attracted to the sort of high profile ness of the races, or is it, you know, the financial incentives that attracts them? What is it?
I think it's a full package, you know. Of course we are helping them to take part of our races. There is a big incentive that are fully public, and you can go on the website and all is rated there. And after, they know that if they want to have some visibility for their brand, if they want to have a value at the end of the year, and to be able to tell to a brand or to find a new sponsor, if they are able to reach a top 20 of the Golden Trail World Series, it will mean a lot for a brand, because they can potentially be part of the Chasing Dreams, they can be part of the highlight video or whatever. And we are paying attention to communicate 50% on men, 50% on women. We are trying our best to make sure that they will earn the same amount of money as well. And it's working at the moment, so that's pretty cool for the contract. And yes, I think we are trying to put our series at the best level for everyone, to make sure that everyone will be super happy at the end. And we are working all together. We are working also with the athletes. We are sending them a survey, questionnaires to get their feedback, and to see with them how we can, what's the next step of our evolution with them, you know.
It seems like the perfect package all round. The thing that you've kind of created, almost created a monster, haven't you, with this? That it's basically like a traveling exhibition, isn't it, of trail running, that you going around and visiting all these, you know, famous iconic races all around the world and putting on a show, and then obviously that benefits the athletes and it benefits the brands. How does it work with the races? Because obviously you've got some iconic races that you brought into the series, like Zagama and Sierre Zinal, and then like Pikes Peak and everything. How does that work with liaising with those races to make them to attract them to be part of the World Series?
For the other races, it depends then of the date, and I'm trying to be in touch with them before the end of the season, and trying to build my next year calendar and to try to complete it in September. So in terms of organization, we are asking the organization to take in charge 10,000 euro of the accommodations and meals of the athletes, and that's it. We are not asking anything else. It means that we are taking in charge of all the prize money or everything. So even the race organizer don't pay his prize money. besides Cierzinal, because it's an exception.
Wow.
They have a specific ranking, so it's too difficult to manage it differently. But for the rest, yes, it's a big benefit for the organizer. That's for sure.
Which race would you say is the most iconic out of all of those races that you put on part of the series?
It's difficult, but
like picking your favorite child, isn't it? I suppose. Can't do it, can you?
No, I would say that of course one of the most popular one, I would say, is Cierzinal, simply because it's the race who can attract road runner, trail runner, mountain runners, you know, and so you have every year a deep field that give this race a little bit different, but I like also, me personally, I prefer technical races, you know, but this is just personal. After, you need to step back and see what's the best for everyone.
Which is the most technical race out of the series, most demanding?
This year, I think it's Dolomites in Italy. It's a 21 kilometers race, but every year almost the race is win in downhill. So that's cool. It's not when you arrive at when you reach the top in first, you are not sure to finish first at the end, and this is what is exciting, you know, is to see that even the downhill, the technical downhill can create a big difference.
Wow. But so I've heard I've never, you know, been there obviously myself, but I've heard all of the hype about Zegama and how that's a massive, you know, how the locals go absolutely wild for that race. Is that true?
Yeah. I think last year they beat the record of spectator. I think they were around 30,000, and it was noisy. Honestly, it was crazy, and we were giving Vuvuzela as well, so it was very noisy. You know, it's like l'Alpe d'Huez during the Tour de France. You have a few kilometers of people that are yelling at you during your run. And I remember some runners told me that during the night they were still hearing, you know, the people, and they were having difficulties to sleep. And you know, it was like when you go in discotheque, you know, and you have to go home and you still have the noise, you know.
Yeah.
It was the same.
Amazing. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see that. So obviously the Golden Trail World Series is known for its coverage as far as media and everything. How, you know, from my experience of so I've worked on media for the Spine race. I went out to Western States and I ran a camera from Roby Point to the finish, and it seems like a massive undertaking to just film and create media and content for just one race. How are you doing that on the scale that you're doing with all those races around the world?
Well, we have a lot of people. I'm managing a team of 32 people.
Wow.
When we are organizing, so I have people, a team dedicated to the live, for the live when there are 18. So for this team, this year they will come to Mont Blanc Marathon, Sierzinal, and the final in Italy. And then we have all the video crew that are working on Chasing Dreams, I Like Video, social media, etc. And here it's a team of 9 people. And then I have a photographer, community manager. So it's a big team, and we need to be well coordinated between all of us to make sure that we are not creating a double work as well. Well, me, I started my first live, I think, in 2016, something like that. I was, I think, the first one to put my phone on my helmet and make a Facebook Live, because it was the only thing that was existing at that time. And I was with my mountain bike on the Mont Blanc Marathon. And I knew when I had to stop to not lose the 4G coverage, but I was able to follow during 10 or 12 first kilometers. And then I stopped and I was showing all the people. And it was in 2016, I think, and it gave me really, I saw a big potential here. So I did it again at the Sierzinal from start to finish, because there the 4G was super cool, super good. So from kilometer 8 to the finish, I was able to follow Kellyanne with the mountain bike again. And then I was thinking, wow, we need to develop that. I don't know. And we work with an online platform to, at the beginning, film everything with the phones. So we were able to film with 6 phones in the same time with the platform. It was crazy because it was a kind of magical, you know, you don't know how it was working, but it was working. And then in 2018, I think, in Mont Blanc Marathon, I started to work with the same company that is working for the Tour de France. So that was a different scale. We did it only once because it was super expensive.
I can imagine.
But it was super interesting to see that it was possible, and that and you know, the technology is much more lighter today than it was in 2018. So yeah, we are really developing and you know, even Elon Musk with the
yes, Starlink.
Starlink is helping us as well. Thank you, Elon. No, so it's and I believe that tomorrow the Starlink won't be anymore a point, but a mobile Wi-Fi. So once we will be there, it will be even easier for us to film in high quality.
Yeah, I know when I was at Western States last summer, it was Starlink that they were using for that, and the system that they used was, I don't know, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was mobile phone based with gimbals, filming with mobile phones. But am I right in thinking that you use GoPros for
yes, yeah.
That's I wanted to ask you that specifically, how that system works, because I use a GoPro all the time. I film races, do bits of YouTube videos and stuff with my GoPro. I absolutely love it. How does a GoPro integrate into a system for live footage then?
Yeah, we film with a GoPro in Bluetooth. with the emitter that we have in our backpack. And then we have 5 different SIM cards working on 4G, and they are automatically choosing which coverage is the strongest.
Yeah, I've seen one of those, like a device that you put all the SIM cards into.
Yes.
Full coverage.
Mm.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I wondered about that this year. If I go back to, I've been asked to go back to Western States to film again, and I wondered whether they would then be taking the next step of going to GoPros because of the quality of the the stabilization and everything. And I know iPhones are good, but surely using a dedicated video system.
Yeah, pay attention because at the Western State there is not a lot of good coverage in terms.
Yes, yeah, Starlink.
So you need to know exactly when you can film and until when, because with all the canyons and everything, the connection is often going away.
I think it's got better over the 2 years that they've done it. I think this will be the 3rd year that we've done the live feed. I think it's gradually, over the 2 years it's got better as they sort of try and figure it out. And but I'd imagine this next year things may have improved, because I found that just that section from Roby Point to the finish, around the track, the signal was great until you got to the track, and then you realized that there was hundreds of people there all using the same, obviously using the same mobile mast to get their signals out, and you had times when the signal dropped and you lost your picture. So it's like, seemed like a shame that people at home are watching it on YouTube and were struggling to see it because everybody's phones were all dipping out and losing signal.
Yeah, this is why when we arrive to where there is a lot of spectators, we are using fixed cameras,
Yeah, for recording. Yeah.
Yeah, to avoid this problem.
Yeah.
Or drones as well.
And drones, yeah, brilliant, excellent. So what's the first races? So it's the order of the races then is Zagama first, then Mont Blanc Marathon, then Sierre-Zinal.
No, Dolomites.
Oh, it's Dolomites.
Yeah.
And then Sierre-Zinal.
Yeah.
And then you go to, what's it like going to the States then for the races? How does that differ? How does it feel different to the European races that you do?
So what is interesting is that when we are going to the US, it's a bunch of Europeans traveling all together, lodging, training, eating all together or every day. And we are doing a kind of a road trip from a race to another one, and exploring the areas. So last year we were going to Moab in the Utah, and we were spending 3 full days there to go to Grand Canyon, to Arches National Park, Castle Peak, Fisher Canyon, etc. And it was amazing. Most of the athletes were there with stars in the eyes. It was unbelievable. The atmosphere, the spirit between all the athletes from all brands and all together. I think everybody loved it. And many of them want to come back just to have this trip again. So this year we are not going to Flagstaff, but to Mammoth. And so we will certainly go to Sequoia Park, to Yosemite, and potentially San Francisco at the end, we'll see. But there is also an additional attractivity to the US because it's like the big trip that you want to enjoy beside the race as well.
Yeah, I suppose especially if you're European and you've been used to traveling around Europe and you've seen most of Europe, then to go into the US, to the big country and seeing all that for the first time. That's and I'd heard stories So I listened to a podcast called The Bad Boy Running, and obviously David Hellard.
Yes.
Over the years, I've heard David sort of telling stories about his exploits over there in the end of the series parties and everything like that. He likes the party, doesn't he, David?
Yeah, we all like it. And we all like David too.
Yeah, he's been good actually. I've been in contact with him over the years about different things because of his brand that he's got and everything with the Caffeine Bullet, and he's been very kind in sending me products to dish out to my social running group and things like that. So yeah, he's a good lad. So is this sort of period now kind of like quiet for you, or are you super busy getting ready for the series kicking off?
Yeah, no, it's always busy. I'm always working hard, anticipating everything. So this week I'm in Italy, but last week I spent a lot of time with my team, my staff as well, working on what will be the episode of Chasing Dreams this year. What do we want to create for our social media content, that a kind of novelty as well, something that we've never done before, to surprise a little bit the community too, and what will be the calendar of our press release or this kind of stuff. So there is always a lot to do.
Busy man.
Yeah, I think it's good to anticipate and make sure that when we arrive at the race, all the work has been done before, and that's generally, when me personally, when I'm at the race, I have not so much to do.
Yeah, the hard work.
Because all has been done before for me.
Excellent. So the first race is again, and that's when is that? Is that May, the middle of May?
14, yeah.
May the 14th. Okay, so I think I possibly will be in Italy that weekend for. I've been given a media place at UT LAC, so Ultra Trail Lake Como, which is it's a new race around Lake Como, but it's a bit of a weird setup with distances, because it's either a 30k or a 250k. That's the difference in the races. So I've been given the option to, obviously I've got to write a review of the race and take photos, and the possibility of taking a cameraman with me to take stills while I'm there, and I've been given the choice of whether to do the 30k or the 250k. So I'm thinking of value for money. So there's a possibility that I may put in for the 250 and just see how far I can get round and enjoy the all expenses paid trip to Italy. Are you aware of that race? Have you heard of it?
No.
Yes, no. I think it's only the second time they've done it, I think.
Okay.
It sounds like it's a new race that they're trying to get exposure for, hence why they're giving away 3 media places to people that will write articles for websites like I'm doing, sort of thing. So trying to create exposure for it. So I've not ran in Italy. In fact, I've only ever snowboarded in Italy, so it will all be new to me.
Yeah, there is trail races in every village now, So
everybody loves trail running.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and giving us your time and giving us those insights to the Golden Trail World Series. Everything that I see about it just seems to be going from strength to strength. And I think it really is a spectacle that people need to see for themselves, isn't it? Whether that's through the social media content or watching the films Chasing Dreams. So if do you want to direct anybody to anything in particular? What if people want to discover it? how should they consume it? Go to watch the videos, watch the films?
Yeah, they can go to our website, goldentrailseries.com, and they will first understand what's the aim of this series. And then on this website, you have also the GTTV, and you have all the Chasing Dreams videos that you will be able to watch. I think it's interesting because it's not a race recap, it's more storytelling. So even if you don't know any athletes, or if you don't know the sport, it's more human stories, deeper stories that you can watch, and yeah, it's for all audiences.
Excellent. Right, so I'll be sure to put that in the show notes so people can click on that link and go to the website and have a look and enjoy watching the amazing content that you're putting out there. So thank you very much for coming on, Greg. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
No problem.